Hello guys, welcome to Supply Chain Data Science YouTube channel. My name is Mani Kumar. In this video, I'm going to show you how to do inventory classification using Python. The technique we use for inventory classification is ABC analysis. So this video is actually helpful for the people who know the inventory classification theoretically and they are looking for how to do that practically, for a larger data set. For example, if you have a smaller data set, let's say 1 lakh or 2 lakh transactions, sales transactions, in that case, you can use Excel or Google Sheets to do this ABC analysis. But when you have a data set which is more than 10 lakh crores, in that cases, you cannot use Excel or Google Sheets because they'll get hang up and they won't work. That's the reason I made this video. In this video, we'll discuss how to do inventory classification using Python. We can do this for any larger data set. Python will handle even the big data sets as well. So we have major steps here. One is we'll import the data and the packages required for this analysis. Then we'll do data cleaning and data pre-processing. Then later on, we'll do the inventory classification. Right? These are the three main major steps. I am assuming that you guys are aware of inventory classification theoretically, and also you guys are familiar with Google Colab and bit of Python. If not, please do watch Google Colab introductory videos, and then you need to have basic knowledge about Python. Right. So I'm going to give the complete code and the data set through the description. In the description, I have provided the link. Through that, you can access the complete code and also the data set. Right. Let's jump into the analysis. So the first step, let's import the packages required for this analysis. So we need pandas, we need NumPy, and we need Seaborn for visualizations. And the important package here is inventorize. So using this package only, we can able to classify the inventory for A class and B class and C class. So by default, Pandas, NumPy, and Seaborn is available in Colab. You don't need to install them. You just need to import to this, um, you know, worksheet sheet. But Inventorize 3 is not available by default, so that you need to install this Inventorize 3 package for this Google Colabs. Which is pretty easy. We just need to call this pip install Inventorize 3, then it will get successfully installed. Then you can call that package. So let's just run that. Okay, in my case, I have already installed the Inventorize 3. That's the reason it is showing a requirement already satisfied for Inventorize 3, which is fine. So let's go to the next step, which is importing the data. So let's import the data from my Google Drive. So this data is actually a sales transaction of a online store, right? You can download the data either from Kaggle through this link. Otherwise, as I mentioned earlier, I will provide the dataset link as well in the video description. To that also you can access. You need to download the dataset either from the Kaggle directly or from through the link which I provided. Then you need to upload that data to your Google Drive. If you are using Google Colab, otherwise you can use any other IDs like Jupyter Notebook or Spider or PyCharm. So in that you have to specify the path of the data which you have downloaded and kept in your local system, right? So and then this syntax encoding, so this is basically to ignore the special characters in the data set. So let's just run this. All right. Now I have imported the data to the Google Colab sheet. We can check the data in this data cleaning and pre-processing stage. So let's see how the data looks like. I'm calling raw data dot head, which is by default it select top 5 rows. If I call head function, then by default it select top 5 rows. So here we are. We got 2 plus 2, 4, 6, 8 columns, right? Which is like invoice number, and then the stock code. It is basically the SKU code, and then the description of the SKU, quantity of the transaction. So let's say in this invoice number for this particular item code, somebody customer ID 17850, he has purchased the six quantity and so on so days, right? And the country is United Kingdom. So we have invoice number and we have SKU code, we have description of the SKU, we have the transaction quantity, we have the invoice date, we have the unit price, we have the customer ID and also country. So what is missing here is the revenue. So revenue which we can easily calculate by multiplying quantity and unit price, then we will get revenue. However, in this analysis, to classify inventory into A class, B class, C class items, we are just going to use sales volume as a parameter. So in that cases, we don't even know need this revenue as well, but we can calculate that. Not an issue. So this is about the columns in the data set, and let's see what's the size of the data set, which is 5,41,909 rows and 8 columns. So let's see what is the data types. What is the data type of each column? Okay, so invoice number it is saying object, stock code object, description object, quantity integer. So sorry guys, this object means it is like any type of data type. It might be string, it might be float, it might be date. So this is object actually represent the general data format. So that's how it is. Only quantity and then unit price customer ID it is showing the proper data type, float and integer, but rest all it is showing it in a general way. So invoice date it is actually showing in object. If in case if we have to do some modification for date, then we need to convert this invoice date column to date and time format. Okay, we can do that. So in the next syntax, I need to see what is the minimum date of transaction, what is the maximum date of transaction. That will actually help me to understand what is the data set period, right? So to understand that, I need to check what is the minimum date of transaction, what is the maximum date of transaction. Then I can understand whether it is 6 months data or 1 year data or 2 years data. That I can able to understand. As I mentioned just now, so if I need to know what is the minimum date and maximum date, then I have to convert that invoice date from object to date and time. That's what I'm doing here, right? I'm calling raw data is a data set which we imported. Invoice date we are converting to date and time, right? And then we are checking what is the minimum invoice date and what is the maximum invoice date. So the minimum invoice date is actually 2010 December 1st, and then maximum is latest. We can call it latest date is 2011 December 9. That means it is 1 year data set. So to do this inventory classification, 1 year data set is enough, guys, because it covers all the months. So some products, if you don't consider 1 year data set, what happens is some product might have seasonality. So in that cases, if you don't consider 1 year data set, you might lose some seasonality of the products. That's the reason it's always better to consider at least 1 year data set. If you have more than 1 year data set, which is pretty much good. Otherwise, minimum requirement is, you know 1 year data set. So let's clean this data a bit, because there might be some duplicates, there might be some null values, and then there might be some transaction where the quantity is less than 0 or equal to 0. So we need to remove all those data set, because it's an actual data, actual transactions which was uploaded to Kaggle. So it is not cleaned already. We are going to clean that data, right? So we are dropping the duplicates and we are dropping the NAs, and then we are selecting the data where the actual transaction is greater than 0, right? So let's do that. And then now let's check the dimension of the data set. So it is reduced from 5 lakh to 3 lakh 92,732. So that means around more than 1 lakh rows got removed, which is fine. So, and apart from this, we don't need all the columns for our analysis. Like we don't need this invoice number, we don't need this invoice date, we don't need this customer ID and country and all, because those columns doesn't help us to do the inventory classification. So that's the reason we'll select only the required columns for further analysis. So I'm calling the new data frame, which is data one. To that, I'm selecting only the required columns like stock code, description, quantity, and unit price. Let's let's execute that, and then we are gonna add new column which is revenue. As I mentioned earlier, revenue is a multiplication of quantity and the unit price. We can, if you want, we can check that how the data looks like after adding the revenue. Right, we got revenue, and we just have 5 columns now. So um, since it is actual transaction, there are a lot of duplicate repetitive transaction for same SKU code. So we need to summarize this data. If we need to make this classification, then we need to summarize the data for each SKU, right? So that's the reason we are summarizing the data for each SKU. So we are calling this group by function for it is like a pivot table, right? So group by stock code, and we're considering stock code and description for these two columns. We are summarizing, we are aggregating the quantity and then the revenue. That's it. So when we some aggregate the quantity, we will get volume of sales, and then when we aggregate the revenue, we will get the total revenue for each SKU code, right? So let me show you how the data looks like. So it's very good feature in Google Colab. You can just insert the uh, cell at any row, anywhere you can insert the cell and you can run. So look at this. Now we summarize the volume and revenue for SKU code. For each SKU code, this is how the volume and revenue is, right? So now let's call our inventorize package and do the classification. So we are saying that for stock code, for each stock code for each SKU, basis volume, let's classify for ABC. So that is inventorize. I'm calling INV is inventorize package, and ABC is a function in that package. And then data 2 is our data frame. In that, for each SKU code, basis the volume, we are making this ABC classification. Let's see how the data looks like after the classification. If you look at here, now we have assigned the category, A category, B category, or C category. Since I selected the data is sorted basis the category column. So if I select bottom instead of head, tile actually. So I'm getting category C. So the data has been sorted basis the category. So the first five are actually belongs to A category, and the last five also belongs to C category. In the middle, it's a mix of A, B, C, and all these things there. So we would like to understand how this data been classified to A and B and C. What is the count of items in A class, and what is the count of items in B class? What is the count of items in C class? So we are calling data ABC, which is a data frame, and for category column and value. For category column, we are doing value count. So, so in C class, actually, there's a lot of items 2143, and A class in A class 873, and in B class it is 875. So it is roughly more than 50% of item share is in C class, and A class and B class it's around 22% each. So which is pretty practical. That's how any organization has the product varieties. So now let us understand this A class. What is the sales volume share of this A class item, and what is the sales volume share of this B class items, and what is the volume share of this C class items? So to do that, again we need to summarize the data. So you can see here after we call this package inventorize and ABC classification, we got this for each SKU, we got percentage of volume share and cumulative as well, along with category. So these two, percentage, cumulative, and category, has been created by this package automatically. This package inventory ABC, it's automatically added this percentage, cumulative, category, these three columns, right? So using these three, we'll summarize. We are saying we are grouping that for each category, what is the count of items in that each category, and then what is the volume share of these items in this particular category. And for that, this for this volume share, we are multiplying it by 100 so that it will become in percentages. So look at this, is very interesting. For each category, we have count of items and we have volume share. So it is actually sales volume share. So if you look at this, A class items are just 879, but their volume share is very high. 80% of the volume share is from A class. So these A class items are very, very, very important items in terms of inventory. And also we need to have very high service level for these items because these are the revenue drivers, right? And if there any stock out, small stock out in this class items leads to very big sales loss. That's the reason we need to give more priority for these A class items, right? So then when we come to B class items, though the quantum of items in B class also almost same as the A class, but their volume share, sales volume share is very less when compared to A class, which is only 15 percentage. So we what we can understand from this here is we don't need to give more importance like we have given to A class when it comes to B class items. We can keep moderate service level for these class items, because if there any stock out for this B class items, then we won't be having much sales loss. We might be having minimal sales loss, right? So that's the reason we can keep moderate safety stock and moderate service level for these class items. So when you come to C class items, though the volume share, when it comes to item volume share, it is 2143, which is double of these two. You know, it is actually equivalent to both A class B class items volume share. Volume when I say volume, item count, but their sales volume is just 5%. So when compared to A B class, this is negligible. For this class items, we don't need to give priority in terms of service level or in terms of inventory also. So if there is any stock out in this class items, it won't affect much for sales. So that's the reason. These so basically companies or any industries keep this kind of products for the market coverage, and you know definitely they cannot make much sales from these products, but these kind of products are required for the market coverage, right? So that's about A class B class items and their volume share. We can also just represent that in a graph using this Seaborn package. Right, we are calling it in the x-axis. We are calling category, and we are using this data frame data ABC, and we got this A class. It is showing like 8 to 7. Same thing. Whatever is there in this tabular table, the same thing which is represented in the graph. That's it. So this all fine, but our main thing is after we do this analysis, we need this data or the output file for further analysis or to send it to somebody else in our organization or with our team. So the important thing is we need to export this ABC classification to the CSV file or an Excel file. So what we have to do is we need to call this data frame and then dot to CSV. We have to mention our Google Drive location. Then it will uh, export this data to the Google Drive path. So this is my data set name, classified data, and my drive is my Google Drive, and drive content, it's a path. Right. If you look at that here, this is actually a folder. This is my Google Drive folder. Go to drive. In my drive, I can see this classified data set. Right. So from the Google Drive, you can just download this data set to your local system. And however, this code will be saved in IPMB format also, and also we can save this file in the GitHub. When you save this file in the IPMB file, or you can also save this file in the Python format, then you can, after saving this file in this format, you can open this code again from Jupyter Notebook or Spider or any Python IDE, right? And then you can replicate this for your analysis by changing the data set, and it will be very easy, guys. Instead of doing the ABC classification in Excel for a smaller data set, you can consider your company's 1 year or 2 year transactions, and then you can do the ABC classification. Then you will get very accurate classification. It will be very helpful for your organization as well as for you in terms of understanding the data and also in terms of using the Python. So this is how we can implement data science in each aspect of the supply chain. Then we can make data driven supply chains, and then we can make better supply chains, faster supply chains. And it's all about data, right? So all these decisions are backed up by the data itself. That's the reason supply chain data science is actually plays a very crucial role. So this is the beginning, guys. This is my second video in this channel. I would like to upload more and more videos to help people who are into supply chain and also into data science. They are the people who have started their career in supply chain, so that they can learn all these things and quickly develop their skills and also help their organizations. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please let me know your feedback, and also if you have any questions, please do let me know in comments. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye bye.